Oh God, it was that button. Hi everybody. Welcome back to Ramblemancy. Finally. Um it's been there's been so many things between like weird schedule stuff and big life changes, illnesses, and quite literal pain in the neck in my part. Uh Muscle spasms are a son of a bitch. Anyway, we're back, and I am alive, but only ironically.
Oh my god!
With
Thank you for the little BB
oh
dances.
my
Like those
gosh,
are adorable.
hell yeah. Um, I saw Amity. Thank you so much for the subscribe, and I saw Rainy. Thank you so much. Bree, hello, and Ike. Okay. Um, well, we are here on the week after the 5th year anniversary of Ramblemancy. Um, it's wild that our little nerdy talk show is old enough to go to kindergarten now. So
Yeah,
that's that's wild.
yeah.
We are joined this evening by co-founder of Rule of Lore, OG Rambler, Henry Nolan. Hi Henry, welcome back.
Hello, everybody. It's so good to be here.
Yeah,
And just to,
it ends as it began. I mean, except it didn't start like this, and it's also not ending. So uh,
it continues as it once continued.
exactly. But yeah, um, yeah, I'm excited. We don't have any specific topics for tonight, but we're here to just sort of continue in the spirit of the show, which is to ramble. We're gonna talk, and to quote Olin Rogers about one of his YouTube shows a long time ago, to show about anything and everything, but mostly nothing. Um, so yeah, Maggie. Oh my gosh, that's wild. That we started the same year Nina was born. That's wild. Matt,
That's cool.
hello. Um, oh gosh, I've almost like forgotten how to do this. Well, I guess we should start with like announcements, just real quick. First and foremost, the thing that you're probably wanting to know about, which is Tomorrow is Dead season 2. We are back on track filming it. Scheduling has been nuts with like everybody sort of traveling post holidays and during the holidays and all that kind of stuff. So it's been kind of wild, but we managed to kind of get back on track. And as far as air dates for the second half of the season, we probably aren't going to have those for a bit because mainly we want to make sure that we focus on our filming first, as we are probably going to be we're like that close from losing one of our members to brand new momhood. So we are focusing on filming first, and then once we have that pretty solidly set, then we'll talk about air dates. So it'll be a while before we get back to Tomorrow is Dead, but it is coming, so not to worry.
Also, a preemptive congratulations to the one and only Scriv the Bard.
Absolutely, absolutely. Um, so that's mostly what we've got for you as far as announcements. The other thing, as many of you probably saw for our Patreon, we're completely trying to overhaul and revamp the Patreon, and to make it easier for us to fulfill and make it more useful for y'all. But we're working on that. But for now, for at least for this month, it's kind of gonna be business as usual while we figure out what we're doing next. So you can be looking out for this coming week. We're gonna be doing our media club list, and then the following week we'll have our tabletop tool chest. So you'll see that. Nico, what up, motherfuckers? Guess who has a new PC? Hell yeah, dude! I'm so happy for you,
That's
man.
cool.
I saw the pictures.
51 months. Damn,
That's
Nico.
that's not a real number.
That's not a real number.
I didn't know there
fucking
were that
made up,
many
dude.
months. That's a lot of months.
That's a lot of months. Yeah. Whew.
But also, congratulations on the new PC.
Yeah.
I
Awesome
saw the
thing.
pictures that you sent me earlier. That's a sick case. I love it.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. That sounds
me too.
dope.
My favorite thing when a friend says I'm building a PC is when 2.5 hours later they send me fuck yeah, and it's just a PC and the boot, like the BIOS screen on a monitor. I'm like, I love it. I love it. I love it when I build a PC and I push the power button and the monitor just turns on and boots to the BIOS. It's so satisfying. And
yeah.
Oh fuck! What thing didn't click in enough to like?
Yeah. Yep. All right, but that's it for our announcements. So we can get just sort of right back into it. John, what do you got for us?
I'm gonna shill to Nico. Nico, I saw that you had to pause the Destiny download. If you haven't checked out the Humble Bundle, you should check out the Humble Bundle. And if anybody in chat has ever shamelessly shilling for the Humble Bundle right now, by way of notifying my friend, but if you've ever wanted to play Destiny, the Humble Bundle has a great way for you to get literally all of Destiny, most 85% of Destiny, right now for not very much money. So there's that.
Yep.
Anyway, in terms of what I have for us, bus shit.
Wouldn't be Ramblemancy.
It wouldn't be Ramblemancy without Lucas throwing me under the bus at the top of the episode. I was actually thinking about this while I was doing the dishes of my dinner, and I think that I had a question then, but now I am so flustered that I forgot what my question was.
Perhaps this throwing John under the bus at the top of the episode is counterproductive.
I don't know. It's a pretty good bit.
Something to consider, maybe.
Anyway, the most of the time it doesn't get me because I'm expecting it. It's just that we haven't streamed for a couple of months, and so now I'm here. Yeah. Newly human, hello, Ramble.
Yeah.
I suppose first of all, welcome back, Henry.
Thank you.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, I'm just thinking about 2019 right now is mostly what I'm thinking about, and like how far away that seems. Because I need to track how many moves that was for me. It was working backwards. Richfield, different place in St. Paul. Keokuk, Iowa. Yeah, it was 3 moves ago for me. Wow. I was living with my when Ramblemancy started up, I was living in I'm pretty sure I was still living in Iowa with my younger brother.
Yeah, I think so. That sounds accurate.
I was just a mod back here, and I was helping Lucas get ready to launch Infinite Horizon in early 2020.
It's true.
And then Dungeons and Dorm Rooms. Oh my god, Dungeons and Dorm Rooms.
I was just thinking about that rooms. I was just thinking about that recently, and William Bloodscream. What a good name for a character.
That was so fun. I mean, I'm a sucker for that kind of half orc with one blue eye and one yellow eye, like everything like split between worlds. That was so fun though. I think that was such a good idea for a setting like magic school, but also normal D&D tropes and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh man. That was
crazy. Yeah. I loved it.
I always remember, and I tell this story a lot on here, but now Henry as well as Freeman is here to back me up on this. When we first did Ramblemancy, we did our first couple of episodes, and they were very we were so nervous. We were just we were very serious discussion, and then in one of our meetings afterwards I was like, guys, we have to be less serious, we have to be less professional.
I know. I was like all right, this is like a high school science video, I'm gonna tabletop role playing is an activity, enjoy you can't
sounding like the first paragraph of a Wikipedia page.
I have a tendency to talk about shit like that when I just need to be a human being.
Yeah,
it's hard.
Yeah. No, it's no, I always remember that because we were so nervous. We just we all defaulted back to very formal lecture based kind of production or presentation, and and I remember being just at our meeting be guys, we have to be less professional, way less professional. We need to fuck up a little bit.
Oh yeah.
The true draw of streaming of this wonderful platform is that you get to look into people's weird bedrooms and see them make mistakes and embarrass themselves in real time,
Yeah.
and nothing can
Yeah.
stop them.
Very
Yeah,
true.
like you get to watch me realize, like in real time, it's like, ah, shit, I left a pile of my underwear sitting on top of a very full laundry basket in the
Yeah, I
back.
know. That's why I've
Like,
blurred my. There's too many distractions back here.
Gotcha.
yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
I've like this has been carefully curated over like 5 years.
But I know the secrets now, John.
Yeah, you know that the
secrets.
wall in front of me is fucking blank.
I have been in this room now, and I have seen the secrets.
No. Like I feel like a fae who's had their true name exposed. Like,
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. Man, I don't even know. I'm experiencing a rare thing on Ramblemancy where I have so many things that I've been wanting to like talk about for the last like however long we haven't been streaming, that like none of them, they're all like colliding in my brain, and now I can't think of any of them.
Months, weeks of things collecting, and now it's like, no, I can't. Nope.
Yeah.
that's a newly human. That's a very astute observation, and you'll notice that Freeman and Lucas actually have like a counter-magnetic pole. They're kind of a yin and yang. You'll notice that
true.
Lucas is wearing white in a black void, and Freeman is wearing black on a white.
Completely
I'll see
unintentional. Holy
myself
shit.
out.
Holy shit.
Incredible.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm gonna open. Hold on.
We've placed them diagonally in Discord to allow the forces to properly like balance each other.
Geek outs. I do live in a gelatinous cube. I was lying about the blur being an effect. Just my head and torso are emerged from it. That's why.
Yeah. Henry is currently suspended in jelly.
Oh.
An animate jelly.
I just live in the physical manifestation of bylighting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like when they don't need it in an LA TV show, it just hangs out here in my room.
There you
I
go.
borrow it for a few hours a week.
Yeah. Yeah. You just when you don't need that like dive bar scene lighting, it just hangs out in John's room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right here. This little guy.
Man. How's everybody been? Like I feel like I definitely haven't seen so many of these names in chat for a long time. And haven't really gotten a chance to like talk with most of y'all. Y'all are everybody still doing good out there? We're still healthy, happy, and good.
I just appreciate Nico's comment, which is the bylighting actually comes out of John. Fun fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, I put the lights on my bed just as like a show. Actually, right before the stream turns on, I just like shed a layer and poof, my room is bylit.
Yeah, it's true. We watched it happen.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
man. I don't even know how to like. I don't even remember how to start this shit.
I think a fun place to start would be like, since we've all been on Ramblemancy for some number of the last few years. What favorite personal ramble moment? This goes for you too, chat. I'll go first, and it's the time that 2 of my friends fucking ambushed me on stream. I think because it was my birthday, and it was on a Friday. That was a couple years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
That both Crystal and Bree
Yep.
surprise guested on Ramblemancy.
That was good. That was a good one. Oh man. Oh, moments later when Freeman showed up in my room with the ghillie suit.
Yeah. Oh my
Hey.
god, that was so good.
That was,
Yeah.
that was gonna be one of mine easily.
Yeah. That was also a great moment. Yeah, Amity, exactly. Yeah, same page here.
Yeah. I the triplicate reaction like of Bree, Crystal, and I sitting on the same camera, and you can watch all 3 of us react in sequence. When you go back, like Matt made an edit of it, I think, and for sure clipped it, but it was so fucking funny because all of us had we were also distracted with the fact that there are 3 of us in one room and Lucas is talking, that like we had not noticed that Freeman had just like disappeared. I was like, oh, he probably just went to the bathroom. And I thought nothing of the fact that he had been gone for a couple of minutes, and then all of a sudden he was on your camera.
Yep.
Secret.
That's right, they were also me.
It was a whole thing.
That's right.
Yeah. Crystal pretended to be me, and then was like, "Oh, you're back," and walked off. And then Bree walked on wearing my fully wearing my clothing.
Yep.
And was
Bree,
like, "All right."
Bree
I
was
went.
cosplaying as John for a while.
Yep. She was like, "I went and had some Pringles and water, and I feel like a whole new person, you guys." Right.
That was a good one. Henry, you have a.
Well, I just Geek Outs mentioned the dramatic reading of that horrible fantasy book, but that was for the fundraiser for Bale Project, right?
Yeah.
That was awesome.
That was so fun.
That was so fun, and like really like we did good in my opinion.
Yeah, we
made
did.
money.
Yeah.
Or not. Yeah, like Lucas, I think your father made me rap part of that book. You remember that?
I remember that. That's right.
My father forced me to rap
I remember.
unrehearsed in front of the whole world.
Yeah, my dad anonymously donated to our thing. Well, not anonymously to us because we could see it, but like he donated to the thing and like made you rap part of it. That was so funny.
That was so fun, and that whole thing. That was like hours and hours of different stuff on like a weekend, I think.
Yeah, we had like Caitlin and I played Astroneer, and then we did the dramatic reading of the Eyes of Argon.
There it is. Good. Yeah,
or the Eye of Argon, something like that. Yeah. And then what did we do after that?
Bree and I took over after that, the last part of the stream, and chat gave us prompts, and Bree would draw for like 10 minutes while I wrote filthy limericks with
That's right.
Control. I love those like I don't know, like all-nighter, like extended some kind of activity where like I don't know if it's the intent, but what always happens is that everybody gets a little bit unraveled, and that's where like the sublime comedy emerges from the tendrils of sleep-deprived chaos. I don't think we wasn't overnight, but that's it. If you do something long enough, something's gotta turn up funny.
Yeah. We did stream for like 10 hours that day. I remember producing the first 2 parts of it while you and Caitlin were streaming, and then like I was basically running the streaming software for the part of the stream that was all of you guys on Zoom. Remember Zoom? All of you guys on Zoom.
I try not to.
Reading. I try to forget it as much as possible. Not even my therapist uses that. For like 6 months.
What is Zoom? What a strange fever dream in our cultural history.
Weirdly wound up pivoting back to Skype at one point for a while for a couple of shows that I was on.
Wow.
But,
does anybody still use Ventrilo? Do you guys remember that one at all?
Oh, I remember Vent. Oh, yeah.
Playing World of Warcraft as a teenager in 2006 and being like too embarrassed to turn my mic on.
Yep.
Same in my early 20s and with Guild Wars too.
There you go.
I remember
Vent server?
Events. Wow. Yeah. I remember joining a guild in Guild Wars 2 and they'd be like, you should join our Vent server, and I was like, the fuck is Vent? What? And like my Path of Exile guild had a Vent server for a while, and then Discord came out and kind of just took over the like, it just produced the best possible version of that product.
Mm-hmm.
And has been that for like the last 7 or 8 years now, right?
Freeman, do you have a favorite Ramble moment?
Ramble moment. Oh goodness. The thing that I thought of, obviously the first thing I thought of was running out of my room and assembling the ghillie suit onto my body and throwing the hat on and dashing over to your place and then sneaking on camera. But I think it was our first. It was either the first or second Ramblemancy where we brought in like making bad media.
Oh yeah, the
Oh,
bad
the bad
pitches.
pitches.
The
Bad pitches.
Yeah.
Bad pitches. I think that was good.
We still need to have you on for that, Henry, because I remember we talked about it last time you were here about
I
doing
know.
bad
I remember
pitches.
talking about that. I remember after that I was like in a long trying to think of stuff that was funny in the shower, but like it was like I can't think. The things I think of are like too grotesque and like I don't. They're too
I
bad.
don't
Maybe.
know.
Although I know
Now-
maybe not. I didn't see it. I
Yeah.
love
can't-
that stuff.
I can't really rib her about being a Canadian teenager anymore because she's in college now. That's how long the show has been going. But one of our audience did in fact give us Arthur the musical, but it's horses with hands or something.
No. Those
that.
were two separate things. Those were two separate
right.
things. It was
No, it was Les Miserables, but it's by horses.
Yes.
But all of the cast are horses with human hands.
correct. Yes, that was
Right,
the,
okay.
Yeah.
Cool,
No,
cool,
and
cool,
then
cool,
the
good.
other one was Arthur, live action Arthur, but in the style of cats. So yeah,
Oh, I hate it.
cursed content is what we made.
Yeah.
That
So if you're
just-
worried about grotesque, those are our two reigning champions.
Yeah. I have a question for you, Henry. Actually, since a burning question, I think everybody, all of our long-term ramblers would love the answer to, is: have you amended your stance on tinned meat?
What was my stance? Was that it's good?
Yes.
Okay. No. My stance is the same.
Okay.
In fact, I got one of those little deviled ham cans with like the paper around it and like a stick figure devil on it in the pantry, and I'm just like saving that like kidney destroying sodium overload for a rainy day. I love tinned meats, dude. I haven't had spam in a long time, but thank you for bringing that to my attention.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
still very good.
okay. Well,
That's,
You heard
that's
it here.
some spam yesterday.
Tinned meat.
Get you some.
tinned meat. Oh God, that was. I think that's my favorite clip of all time from anything Rule of Lore. Is just that perfect moment that Caitlin encapsulated in just that clip, and it was Henry and Freeman playing off of each other, and then me just dead-eyeing the camera, and it was a great moment. Just a perfect, iconic Rule of Lore moment.
Really, y'all are bringing back a whole lot of memories I didn't realize I had. I'm having the same experience here live on the internet right
Yeah.
now. So
I'm having trouble like that when I was on here regularly on Ramblemancy. It was like several different sedimentary layers of my life ago. It feels
Right.
like 3
Yeah.
or whatever it was since I was last on here is a long time, and a lot has changed universally and for me personally.
Yeah.
Right. The Great Plague and everything else.
Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, like, same. You know, like, it's been several years. I think I framed it pretty well in like the number of moves too. Like I was at the time that Ramblemancy the show started, I was a substitute teacher part-time, and then there's the plague, and now I work in the tabletop RPG industry full-time.
Yeah.
Boom, dude, that's so fucking cool. Can I say the F word on this TV show?
Yes, absolutely.
thanks.
But only you, specifically you.
Okay, good.
Just you were forbade. Everyone else.
God damn it, Henry! You're a father. You can't be saying stuff like that.
Oh yeah, well no, I gotta let it all out now.
I watched in an as yet unreleased interview after the cameras were done rolling. Jake went and got young Jake, and I watched him fully drop an F-bomb with the child on his lap, and I was like, excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the parent. Okay, we're gonna talk about being a parent of a young child now for
Let's go.
45 minutes.
Okay.
Nobody gets to talk but me. No, I noticed that a lot of youngish parents seem to they don't care about saying bad words in front of little kids. So I don't care that much either, I guess, because all I do is copy the behavior of the people around me. But when I was little, I didn't hear the F word till I was like 7 at all. Like, I think I may have been kind of sheltered, but no, my 4-year-old has definitely dropped some F-bombs already. So
I've heard about some of them. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. Yeah. My parents were just constantly, all the time, swearing. So like,
Yeah,
there's-
it's just
yeah.
a like taboo that I grew up with, but I don't think I actually care about
Yeah.
very much.
No, like my parents were very clear about me swearing, but they were doing it all the time, and
Oh
so
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like some of the other like iconic Ramblemancy moments. I mean, I know back then we went through a lot of different topics. Because I feel like at the time we were not as confident in our ability to just like vamp for, like we only did it for like an hour back then. 'Cause
Mhm.
Ramblemancy was only an hour back then. Um, and so we'd like have topics to kind of get us started, but yeah,
Yeah, it feels like these days when we go to do Ramblemancy, it's kind of a 50-50 shot of are we going to choose a topic like in the moment when the show begins, or do we have something we're genuinely thinking about from the top of the week, / do we have a guest that we're having on to talk about a specific thing that they're interested in?
Amity says it somehow always manages to come back to Star Wars every time. Okay, listen.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to follow that up with, but
Okay. Sorry, it's Grey Jedi.
shut the fuck up.
Lucas, could you explain Grey Jedi to
I
me?
will not. I can, but I will not.
I forgot what command that was. I know there is one. I wrote
Oh shit.
it.
Newly Human says this is relatively recent, but I'm still amused every time I remember the scary notifications from Dead Space getting accidentally left on. The thing is, I'm not 100% sure that we've changed them. It's one of those things that has just kind of gotten swept under because it's so many like, it's just, yeah.
Somebody should buy us a coffee right now. No, don't buy it right now. Don't buy it right now. Buy it in 15. Like, buy us a coffee in 15 minutes when we've all forgotten.
I listen. Did I get rid of Nightbot? I don't think I did.
I think we might just have not been online very much, and we might need to turn Nightbot back on.
Nightbot said, "Okay, well, I'll
Nightbot
go."
went to sleep. Nightbot was like, "Fuck you guys. I'm gonna like fucking unionize and wait." Like, yeah. Yeah. Look, Star Wars. It's not my fault if Star Wars is often relevant to our conversations, and sometimes I steer the conversation in the direction that makes it relevant. That's not my fault. But yes, sometimes it does happen.
Welcome back, Nightbot.
There we go. There we go. I hate this.
Freeman has a prop for time. I have not shown off any props.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah, not yet. I am the prop master.
I know. I never know what you're doing.
My room looks clean here, but one bad step to either direction, they all will come tumbling down. Let's move very carefully.
If you blow too hard at your screen, it will disturb the carefully cultivated prop mountain.
Freeman coming at you live from Janet's Void from The Good Place.
No, props are a lot harder to manifest since I changed to a standing up position. When I was sitting, I could just kind of like lean over to one side and just grab whatever's on the floor, and everything has to be carefully balanced like a house of cards. And,
Freeman has eschewed his desk in favor of a carefully balanced pile of random props, which is why he can't bring any on screen right now, because if he pulls one, it all comes tumbling down like a house of cards. So
Freeman, are you actually standing up right now?
I really am.
How do you stand up for 90 whole minutes? That sounds impossible.
I do it for games too.
it's true.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We'll record a whole ass 2.5-hour episode of an actual play, and Freeman will just be standing.
Yeah,
just standing.
Yeah,
It's kind of in the mode, both.
Oh no, Maggie.
The mood and the mode.
Oh no. Yeah. So
Spigs.
Oh my God!
hey,
Hello,
Spigs.
it's Spigs. Our good friend from Cypher Unlimited. It's been a hot minute, my friend. Welcome on in. Um, we're celebrating our 5-year anniversary of Ramblemancy. A week late, and we're talking about our favorite Ramble moments from the last 5 years. Kind of going through a bit of a Ramblemancy nostalgia trip. With the OGs, and also John. Hashtag also John.
Hashtag
And John.
John.
Yep.
Mhm.
Original John.
The original John.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I'm trying to think of some like other good moments.
I got a question. Do we ever do a superheroes Ramblemancy?
We did. We had Rick Budd, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah, we had Rick Budd.
Yeah.
I think that was after you had left.
Yeah, I think so.
But we had Rick Budd on to talk about superheroes because at the time he was running Power Play over on Alt Haven. Well, Q Times at the time, but now Alt Haven. And
The channel formerly known as Q Times.
yes, and so we had Rick Budd on to talk genre with us, and that was a fun time. And we had a bonus Amy Dallin who was in the chat, who was the true superhero knowledge behind the man. So that was cool. We got some Amy Dallin knowledge dropped in the chat during that time, so that was fun.
I actually saw both of them at Gen Con this
Oh,
last
nice.
year. Yeah, they stopped by the Possum Creek booth
That's
on the
awesome.
last day. And like Omar Dujam stopped by at the same time. Like it was so like I was just like, oh my god, there are so many of you here.
Yeah.
So many stream punks, and Omar, you've been on Dimension 20, and holy, oh my god.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, so that yeah
Wow.
we did do a superheroes one, but yeah, I'm trying to think of like I know we have like a whole big like list, like an archive of like what topics we've covered in Ramblemancy, but I know that like some of our earliest ones that we did were like zombies and post-apocalypse. We did
The Dungeons and the Dragons.
the
It was one of
Dungeons
our
and the
earlier
Dragons, correct? Yeah.
ones.
I remember we did like Star Trek and Star Wars like pretty early on. Yeah. Yeah, we did a lot of stuff.
yeah.
You know, I feel like I spent a lot of my life building up media literacy or at least knowledge of movies and shit to talk about, but I've done that way less, like in these last 3 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I brought up superheroes because they're cool and I've watched lots of movies, but it's never been like my main interest
Yeah.
in terms of media or like general like nerdy stuff. But I'm gonna talk about my child again. He because of him, I've seen the second Spider-Verse movie like 2.5 times, was not that many. I think his mom's watched it like 5 times, and it's so fucking good. I love that movie so much. And part of it is like how much he cares about Miles Morales. So like it's cool. I don't know, like this one fun thing about having a kid is like seeing what media is like through their lens to some extent, and it like
Yeah.
I feel the power, of
Yeah.
superheroes. No, I'm not saying that I'm like a grumpy old person that hasn't cared about them before that, but ooh, it like makes me feel something in my heart. I think it's
There's also
Spider-Man's so sick.
there's also something about, and I can only imagine that this must be amplified with a child, right? But there's something so like powerful, I think, about watching something either that you haven't seen before at all, or then wouldn't have watched, or something that you have seen before many times and introducing a new person to it, because it's like you get to see it brand new through their eyes, and I
Yeah.
can only imagine how much more powerful that would be with a child, right? Like,
Right.
yeah.
That's the funny thing. Like I was like, I'll show my kid Star Wars or whatever, but he's not into it. It's more
Sure.
like he's explaining. He's like, no, look, this Venom is a symbiote, and I'm like, oh, okay, like, He's like somehow he's learning all this shit about how they work.
Yeah.
I probably knew Venom was a symbiote, but he's got the details.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. I just
Like there's no worrying about taxes in his brain, right? There's so much more room for like a joy.
Oh no, don't worry. I've explained taxes in detail to him multiple every time after we watch Across the Spider. No,
Good,
just
good.
kidding. No,
It's
you're right.
2 hours of
Don't
sitting down with U.S. tax code.
don't bring up taxes in the middle of February. That's too
Ooh.
It's too topical.
Yeah, come
It's
on.
too
It's supposed to be
real.
fun, John. God.
I know.
I just wanted to point out, Newly Human said, if I may be weirdly sentimental about Ramblemancy for a moment, on the week after its anniversary, you know what? I think we'll allow it, actually. He said, over the past week, I had some truly exhausting conversations about pop culture with a man, TM, and it made me think about how much I really appreciate this space. That's really nice, Newly Human. We appreciate having you here as well. Like, this is what we love doing. We love just sort of talking about this, and like we've had like on the subject of ramble moments and topics that we've had in the past. I know that some of my favorite ramblemancies that we've had have been the ones about uh, media literacy and the way that we talk about and analyze media. I think those have been some of my favorite ones. I think one of our very first guest moments was with Bree actually talking about that very subject. Um,
Yeah,
and
I think Bree and I were for on for that episode, or at least I was. I know I Bree was on a couple of times.
yeah,
Earlier, I remember talking about media and
I
stuff.
think our very first one was actually probably while you were still here, Henry, because I think I remember it being an in-person thing in one of our old setups. But yeah,
Hmm.
Oh my god! And Bree was still in. If you're still in chat, Bree, I remember Bree streaming from her childhood bedroom,
yep,
and not the house where she now lives with her husband because they had not moved in together yet.
yeah. Well, and so those have always been like my favorite Ramblemancies, specifically because Newly Human, because of what you're talking about. Like I find that as a chronically online, although much less so these days, person, I come across some truly exhausting conversations about pop culture and about all that kind of stuff. And that, yeah, I feel, I know what you mean, because like, I think it's likewise from this side, because, yeah, we talk about stuff like when we hang out, like offline when we hang out and stuff. We have those conversations, but it's a very different thing to be doing it like on a streamed and public sort of way, because um it is a bit more like an open forum, only an open forum where people are like interested and somewhat dedicated to having a certain amount of media literacy and talking in depth about things that like don't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but that are indicative of things that do matter in the world. And so it's important to have some form of literacy in those things and have those conversations. So like that's one of the things I love about Ramblemancy and have always loved
Yeah.
about it. So
I genuinely love like when people come in and like ask questions or share their thoughts about things that we're talking about, because it is always an enlightening experience. Like one of the things that I've been doing more on my personal streams this year is streaming like game playtesting and game design as I'm doing it, and it's super super fun. Just like being able to chat with people about that. Um, and
I miss it because so much of life is like I gotta go to this place and do this thing now. Like, uh, and even like leisure activities it feels like are often like they're activities, but like what I want and what I've wanted since I was at least a preteen is to sit down and talk about movies with people, like and like not not in a way that's just like which ones are good, which ones are bad, but just like I need to bullshit with
yeah,
some people. Like my brain needs it. So I've
absolutely.
really missed that.
We should, Henry, we gotta, because we did that once like a year ago. We should maybe actually like, you know, do that again now that it's we've had time to let it cook, let it all cook. We've given it a year to let all those conversations sort of simmer. So I think it's probably about time, right? It's
Yeah, we should. I'll be back if you allow it.
Genuinely, one of my favorite things to do sometimes is just ask Brie what K-dramas she's been watching recently, because I know it will spark a 2-hour-long conversation in which she tells me about like all of the shows that she's watched recently, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the amazing. And then because she just has such a like encyclopedic knowledge of Asian dramas, it always stems into an interesting conversation about the way in which they play on common romance drama tropes, while also mixing in elements of like other like genres of Asian dramas, or like other general like media genres, like fantasy or sci-fi or like modern day. Anyway, it always winds up being a fun conversation, because I like surprise from an English major, I like talking about media. I think the ways that people make things is just endlessly cool. Same with me, but video games. Yeah. Also, increasingly, as I have spent more and more time as a game designer, it's not. I just like talking about any kind of. It can be video games, it can be board games, it can be tabletop games. I just love talking about what people are doing with games. Which is why when somebody when that meme popped up last year, that was like, oh yeah, Fishblade, the diceless, GM-less, freeform role-playing game. I was like, yeah, but actually, what? Make it, cowards. And then ran a game jam for it. I ran a whole ass game jam, and Bree drew thing here, if you want just some random fish pirates to use in your Fishblade game.
Fishblade RPG.
Yep, a Fishblade RPG jam. Because I was just like, I think that this is cool, because what one person thinks Fishblade is so different than what another person does, and the difference between these two things is deeply fascinating to me.
But yeah, no, it's so I don't know. I love getting a chance to. I've missed Ramblemancy over the couple of months that we were not streaming, because it's sometimes it ends up being my main outlet for that kind of thing during the week, especially during busier weeks when I don't really get a chance to do that with my friends. Ramblemancy ends up being kind of my main outlet for that kind of thing, and I always love when people come in to our chat and we're talking about something and they're like, I actually don't like that thing, or we're talking about not liking something, I actually do like that thing, because then we end up with some interesting conversations. I've definitely had moments during Ramblemancy where somebody has been able to kind of make me think completely differently about something that I either liked or didn't like or whatever, and I don't know, and maybe that's more about how I specifically am wired, but I genuinely like to when I get to see something in a brand new light, because I like looking for the merits in things, even things that are largely garbage. It's why one of my comfort shows is The Walking Dead, because there are merits to it, even though it's not that great for the first few seasons, and I don't really recommend watching the show to anybody who hasn't seen it already because of those first few seasons. I cannot in good conscience do it, but the point is, there are things I like about it, and I like looking for the merits in various media. And I remember Bree and I specifically having a conversation about how she and I are very similar in that we are both willing to wade through all kinds of bullshit to find those little pearls, and I love doing that.
And as I just said, it is one of my favorite reasons to talk to her about media, is because she has waded through a lot of anime, manga, Asian dramas. So she's seen just the entire breadth of done extremely well, done very poorly, but there's even on this end of the spectrum, there's always interesting choices that are actively made that are fun to talk about.
Yeah.
Because as Kate put it, I think really well, I like talking about the things.
I was just going to point that out. Yeah.
yeah, I like talking about the things that they like and enjoy because I learn things and they get to feel that freedom. And like, yeah, like I like learning stuff. Surprise
Yeah.
from someone who
And
used to
like
be a teacher. Yes, you can use the command.
and like Nico said, nothing better than when someone actually manages to show me a perspective that my overthinking ass hasn't considered yet. I agree. I love that. Like that. In fact, I know this is just kind of turned into us being like gushing about Bree, but I had a moment like that with Bree recently, like just like in person, for the first time in forever. We were, I think John, you had sort of like left to go do something and to go take care of something.
Yes, the pest control person was here, and
That's
I was
right.
explaining
That's
that my
right. That's what it
room
was.
had a nocturnal visitor
Yeah.
about yay big.
Right. And so Bree and I just had like a long conversation, wherein I don't even remember at the moment what we were talking about, but Bree said something and I was like, oh shit. I never thought about that aspect of that before, and I love those moments in conversations. Those are the moments I live for in conversations. So yeah,
Not to continue making this gush about Brie Hour, but why do you think we work together?
yeah, yeah,
100. Yeah, I'm with Nico. It's always a good time to gush about Brie.
yeah. I agree. Kate said, I love a different angle. It's why I'm a collaborator human, and learning new stuff is fun. Heck, my students teach me stuff on occasion when I'm supply teaching. Yeah, totally. That's yeah, absolutely.
Really wild.
I've always liked to think of myself as an incredibly unpleasant, unlikable loner, but I've also I've
You've
also keep
liked to think
finding,
about yourself that way?
yeah, I really enjoy
Okay,
it.
cool.
I also have always ended up in like collaborative art stuff, basically. Like I did a lot of theater stuff in school, and then the like the facet of D&D that makes me excited about it is that it's collaborative improvisational storytelling, yada 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 yada, do stuff like that. And then the Kickstarter thing I was doing is writing with 3 people,
Yeah.
which is really hard because I'm used to writing as one person. But I don't know, there's something very special about making art, or it doesn't have to be art, but like making ideas with other people, like the back and forth. I mean, that's, we're social creatures,
Yeah.
but it gives you the special brain feeling that nothing else does.
Absolutely. No, and like especially for people like me who tend to be like verbal processors, like if I'm not saying it with my mouth, it's probably not a real thought that I'm having. So like having some, but I also get really self-conscious talking to myself, so it doesn't really work that way. So it's good to have another person in the room that I didn't invent. And although I do as a DM I have those moments too, but that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so like for me it's extremely important often because like often I don't even process new ideas unless I am discussing them with another person, which can be frustrating, but it's also extremely rewarding. So yeah.
Well, also,
Thank you for quoting me, Kate. I appreciate it.
you know, um, I think even if you like think in the sort of way that you can formulate an idea in your head and it makes sense to you, articulating it to somebody else forces you to look at it from other angles, right? And then like, and then if it becomes collaborative, then there's all that too. But yeah, like it isn't a real thought until you speak it to somebody.
Sorry. Odds says, when does Ramblemancy become Blathermancy? That's
Right now.
Right now, yeah.
Always, fucking always has been.
Yeah. Oh man.
I'm sorry. You said blather, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's right. I heard Lathermancy, and I was like, no, that's a different show.
That's the After
That's
Dark.
a different.
That's After Dark.
That's a different website.
That's Patreon
a very-
exclusive.
That's a Patreon exclusive. Ramblemancy After Hours. I know we've made that joke before. This is the first time, I swear.
That's on only lore.
Only lore.
No data, only lore.
No data.
Oh God.
God.
Okay.
Only Lord. Thank you for gifting us with that, Odds. Thank you for gifting us with that.
Truly. Um,
God.
only lore uwu. Oh no.
Woo.
If we joke about
Ooh, woo.
Ramblemancy after dark enough times, listen, in the winter, Ramblemancy's always after dark. Um,
It's true. I mean, and because I live in Central Time, it's always
That's
Ramblemancy after dark, baby.
that's true. That's true. Oh gosh.
Yeah. It might be August, and Lucas and Freeman are like, yeah, it's 7:30 in the morning over here. I'm like, it's 11:30 at night, and we just got on call to start the show. It's not that.
Oh,
I'm
my
exaggerating
gosh.
the difference between West Coast and Central Time, but
No, I think that's about accurate. That's about accurate.
Yeah.
Checks. That checks out.
14 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Totally.
it's about a 14-hour difference.
Oh man, what was I gonna say? It was about on the topic of like the whole media literacy thing. Oh, just the fact that like media literacy like just as its own thing is something that's always been like hugely important to me. Um, but oh, Cam, I'm so glad you stopped by. Thank you so much. Um, yeah, like media literacy is a huge thing, and so and I honestly I've never thought of Ramblemancy as being any kind of like didactic, programming of any kind. Like we're not here to like teach anybody anything, but like I think with some things, I don't think there is a way to teach them other than by just having a space where you hold discussions up to a certain on that subject up to a level of standard, and like here like on Ramblemancy, like yeah, we joke around and we're often like very chaotic and just sort of all over the place, but one of the things that I know that we have definitely had happen, and I've definitely called out a couple of people in chat before for going to the like, oh, that's garbage, that's trash or whatever, and be like, all right, hold on, let's stop for a second, why don't you tell me about that, and having that kind of thing I think it's an important to like hold those walls up, like because I think especially over the last few years, a lot of us have been seeing in our own way how destructive a lack of media literacy can be to like society in general, like and I think we've all kind of been seeing bits and pieces of this around, and so it's one of those things that's like not the most consequential as far as issues go, but it matters, and I think we've seen it a lot, and I think having a space like this where we can sort of do that and like not necessarily teach, because again it's not really like about teaching, but like having a space where we can just discuss in a way that kind of elevates the discussion above this is bad, this is good, you know what I mean, like
I was just thinking through this entire bit that our very liberal arts college program would be very proud of us, because what we have just described is a recreation of the Socratic method.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Well, I think Socrates was a lot more hammered than we are all right now.
Yeah,
probably
I think
true.
I think
But it is close.
This spring, Rule
I
of
could
Lore.
go get some whiskey, actually.
Coming this spring to Rule of Lore, Paideamancy, where
My goodness.
What is Paideia? What's that mean?
I mean, it is basically what we're just discussing. It's a. Oh boy! All right.
And what are gray Jedi? You don't have to explain it
All right. That's all we have time for. No, I'm just
I'll
kidding.
just Google it.
Yeah, it's a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Lucas,
I
no.
recall, if I recall, paideia is a Greek word that means something in the vicinity of either learning or a little bit of everything.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's supposed to be
a,
sort of like a holistic approach to like learning and education, where you kind of come to it from an interdisciplinary standpoint.
Yep.
But yeah,
Well, thank you. I learned a word.
you're welcome.
Now I'm
Who's-
going to use it
Who
with
says
somebody
that?
tomorrow.
Who says that Ramblemancy isn't a teaching show?
I know. And just moments ago, you said we weren't didactic here.
Also, you'll see numerous people saying no because I've unlocked a trauma from our college days because our all the Luther
Ambient.
gods grown concurrently. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Amity, Verdiman, Agent Chaos, every
Yeah.
single one of them are having war flashbacks
Yeah.
to freshman and junior year at
Mhm.
our college.
Yep.
Strangest sect of chat just every like a few select members of our chat just went like 1,000-yard scare.
Yeah. For context, for everybody who didn't go to our school had a Paideia program, but it was unfortunately kind of twisted into something that it was never really meant to be, and ended up being kind of the bane of many students' existence. So yeah, it was.
The original idea of the program was that I think especially for people who weren't going into inherently like creative
Mhm.
programs, that the Paideia courses, you would take one your freshman year, and that course would be kind of composition, literature. You did a lot of like reading and writing across a lot of genres, usually along like a theme that the college came up with every year. And then by the end of your junior year, I think you were supposed to take one other Paideia course as part of your program, and those could be a variety of things, and they usually were they were offered across again a variety of different studies. You could take like some like like weird specific studies of American history. You could take one about the U.S. school system, which was required for education majors, which sort of defeated the purpose of the program, but of that particular requirement. But then there was, there were a whole bunch of different ones where you could learn just kind of like not useless or oddball skills, but things outside of your discipline
Mhm.
that you were learning, or the degree that you were getting.
Yeah.
And so the idea was that you would graduate a more well-rounded person.
Mm-hmm. It sadly fell short of the mark, unfortunately. But anyway,
yeah, I think Verdiman has struck to the heart of it. I think the biggest problem with the Paideia program is that they needed so many teachers for it that a lot of people who were not literature, like qualified to teach English or literature, wound up having to teach composition and literature. And so, the people who didn't have professors who were very good at teaching writing and media comprehension and literacy struggled.
Yeah. Yep. Anyway,
May I? All this talk about words that sound like they might be from ancient Greece or another ancient place, making me think about a genre or subgenre that have been thinking about and really enjoying recently, and it's like modern reinterpretations or whatever of Greek myths. I guess specifically Greek myths. Like I want to bring this up because I read both the books Circe and Song of Achilles, and I think that was since I've been on here. I just want to plug them real quick, and I think they're very cool. But I love that stuff. I'm always waiting for them to make another like Trojan War movie, and to do it different somehow. I don't know. It's kind of the same thing of like seeing stuff from a different angle. Oh, and the game Hades, of course. If anybody cares, the main video game that I'm looking forward to is Hades 2. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I love that stuff because they're all kind of sexy, and there's like romance, and there's
very hot, yeah.
but there's also fighting and gross monsters. I don't know. I'm back on my Greek mythology bullshit.
Hell yeah.
Also, the Percy Jackson series just came, like live action series, just came out on Disney Plus, and it is very, very good.
I never read those books. I need to check it out.
But I've been meaning to like start watching the show though, because I've heard good things about it. So
they are for sure worthwhile reads, especially since we have a parent on the show. They're great for young readers. So not like young readers. They are fairly hefty chapter books, but like I would say that they are a great YA YA series.
Yeah.
Oh, and the game that Bree played. Oh yeah. I don't know if you have a Switch, Henry, but I think it's actually on Steam and stuff, some other platforms too. But Stray Gods is a really cool.
I never heard of that.
It's a role-playing musical, so it's like it's like a is it a visual novel kind of like deal where like you can go around to various places and try and unravel like this mystery of modern day Greek gods. Stray Gods is really good too. That's another good piece of reimagined Olympian myths.
Cool. Okay. Wow, this is great. I'm gonna put this in my quiver of things to look at.
Hell yeah. Speaking of video games that I'm really looking forward to, anybody who knows me even just a little bit knows that I'm a big open world survival crafting game fan, and I'm really, really looking forward to Nightingale coming out. It's,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like Gas Lamp meets Fae, like open world survival crafting game that's coming out in 4 days because they have they did their server stress test, and apparently went super well. And literally the next day after the stress test, they're like, "Hey, it's releasing 2 days early, actually." So,
that's unheard of. What the hell?
It's a good sign.
Oh no, it's so strange. I also, from the ads I've seen, that game, the aesthetic kind of looks like how I imagine the D&D game we're playing right now.
Yeah, me too.
You know?
That's a good chunk of the reason why I'm excited for it, but also just because it looks dope as shit. Like, come on, gliding on an umbrella around like a warped Fey landscape.
Yeah.
Sign me the hell up.
I wish
it was good. I watched it a while ago.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Yeah, I cannot wait.
I wish I had a more fiery personal animus to like get into these more creative games. Like, as much as in theory, like making stuff and art and creativity, the older I get, the more I love games that are like a fucking procedural treadmill. Like, I'm not proud of that thing I'm learning about myself, but I just give me a carrot and a stick. Let me do the same like gameplay loop millions of times. It's so lame, but that's how I am.
I don't think it is less lame, Henry, that I like games that make it that simulate doing things that are much more that you could do in real life, that are probably much more fulfilling and useful to just do in real life, such as building homes and crafting things with your hands. So I'm not sure that is more admirable, to be honest with you.
I think I spent an hour playing poker in Red Dead Redemption instead of actually playing Red Dead Redemption.
You know what? Well, yeah, that's fair.
I think the bottom line, the thing to try to remember is that time enjoyed is not time wasted.
That's fair.
But that's like a thing. Sometimes I'm like, okay, what if I had spent all these? I don't even want to go into it. Have productivity and an abstract idea of self-betterment. Nah, games are good.
Yeah.
I've played Destiny 2 for more than 1,000 hours, and I regret very little of that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, man. I love the open world survival crafting games, and I do recognize I do not uncritically love them. I recognize that they all kind of have a problem, and it is the same problem across the board, and that is the fact that it is the problem of, but why, right? Like like exploring, gathering materials, crafting items, building a base, and at the end of the day, why though? But like, why? And they all have this problem.
Right.
So,
well, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta decide you want to do it yourself to some extent. I think that's why I need the games that are like have a like dopamine drip built into the gameplay loop.
Absolutely.
It's why I love Destiny. I can push F every couple of minutes and click a guy and see 999,999. I'm like, yeah, that that's what we're looking for.
Also, Newly Human says, I don't need to know what the fact that I recently 100%ed Power Wash Simulator says about me. And you know what? I have an enormous respect for the people who play as defined by Yahtzee from Fully Ramblematic, as defined by him as the dad game and the post dad game. So I have an incredible amount of respect for the people who enjoy those.
Post dad game.
I'm gonna see if I can find the definition because it's actually a very funny and a useful thing to know, I think.
What the fuck is a post
Oh,
dad
I'll find
game?
it. I'll find it.
Oh my god. Yeah, I need to know that definition. Also, not the same, but to add to the last topic for books and media, Anansi Boys, American Gods, Norse Mythology, come highly recommend me. Your local Neil Gaiman spinner. Yes, please read things by Neil Gaiman. My favorite Minnesota cryptid.
Thanks for all these recommendations, everybody. I'm taking notes on some of this. I read American Gods a long time ago, and I remember liking it a lot.
Okay, here we go. Basically, so a dad game, basically any game that simulates a real world job, something that the experts of that job can feel nostalgic of, and people who have never done it, like Yachts himself, can feel like they have a tough, manly job. He also coined the post-dad game, which is like having a real job, only in a fantastical setting, like Elite Dangerous being a space trucking simulator. So,
okay.
The dad game and the post-dad game.
Elite Dangerous and Power Washing Simulator, post-dad games.
Not Power Wash Simulator. Power Wash Simulator, I think, would be
is a dad game.
Is a dad game under this yeah. So stretching the definition a bit, but I think not too much. So, look, I fully accepted the fact that I'm a 31-year-old woman who is also firmly in the genre of person best described as dad.
That's so cool.
You know,
my algorithm never knows what to make of, like, my advertising algorithms never know what to make of me, because like my taste in like activities says that like I'm probably some kind of to invoke the old 90s D&D stereotypes, and kind of like basement dwelling like RPG gremlin. But then at the same time, like I watch a bunch of things that also suggest that like I'm probably a woman in her late 20s in terms of like the media that I watch. And then I also climb and interact with a lot of like bouldering stuff. And so it's like, you're some kind of gym bro, right? And I'm like, no, you've severely like miscast the weird section of exercise community that I belong to. We're all fucking nerds here.
Nico has clarified with some examples. Power Wash Simulator, dad game. Viscera cleanup detail, post dad game. I think you could comfortably call Lethal Company a post dad game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lucas, have you played that game, or have any of you all?
I haven't. I have it, but I haven't played it yet.
Yeah, we should play it.
That's such an interesting slice of things. See, actually, and now, Kate, you've got me thinking. And this is the curse of being in the line of work that I am. I'm like, there's a game there, and it's try and fucking spoof your advertising, your advertisements into like I don't know. There's some kind of role playing game here about what your advertising says about you.
And we need a Nightbot counter for the number of times John comes up with a new idea for a game
live on stream. Thank you, Matt, for introducing a climbing counter. It's a thing that I started doing a year and change ago, and it now is a core part of my personality, just like the beanie that is almost always attached to my head. Which came first, the climber or the beanie? Who knows?
Inextricably linked, those two things.
Yeah. Odds and Ends, who is in chat right now, did actually just brutally roast me a few months ago by sending me an Instagram reel that and the only thing she said when she sent it to me was, in quotations, "You will know a climber by his beanie." It was a reel about like how to spot climbers in the wild.
No.
So fucking funny.
Spotify started doing those day lists, and I recently got one titled Teen Rock Rocking on Sunday Afternoon. It may have been making fun of me. Listen, the AIs are out in the wild now. They've become aware, and they will mock you.
Yeah. Kate, oh, 100%. What will the algorithm do with this? There's 100% a game there. And I just need to crowdsource about 2,000 really ridiculously weird types of, like, things that are real types of people and also just weird bullshit.
So I think we should graduate Geek Outs from being not only the fastest clipping finger in the West, but also the fastest Nightbot counter maker in the West. So
I've taught you well, Matt. When I was just a moderator for everybody around here, that's what I did. I made stupid meme polls, and I made silly chat commands.
Hell yeah. Oh my gosh. What was I gonna say?
You gave me this power. And naught but God himself can take it from me.
Oh man. What was I gonna say? I feel like it was when we were talking about the dad game, the post dad game, the
Lethal Company, cleaning up guts. Geek Outs. That movie about Egyptian gods is called Gods of Egypt. Just want to give that important address to chat.
Man, I don't remember what I was gonna say, but yeah, Lethal Company. No, it wasn't about that. I don't remember. I'm just. Oh, I remember now. No, I remember. It was when we were talking about games that we're excited for, and yeah, just Nightingale. You're probably gonna see me playing it at some point. Probably not on stream because my computer doesn't really like that anymore. When I stream, and also I'm playing a game, but hopefully in the process of getting that fixed at the moment. But I will be you'll probably see me around the Discords doing that. Yeah. What? Nope. That's the end of that sentence. It stopped before it started. Yeah.
Not that I want to go into talking about AI, but it made me think that 4 years ago, February, we did do robots, AI, and synthetic beings as a Ramblemancy.
That's true.
In 2020.
Oh my God, no, that's
and I kind of want to watch it to see.
I know. I know.
What we said.
You poor children, you knew not what was coming in 2 years.
Unfortunately,
bastards.
I think that one is not one of the ones. I think that's pre-YouTube. So I think that one, in order to watch it, we'd have to go deep into our Twitch archive, which is never a good idea because it's poorly optimized if you want to see anything that happened before the present moment. But it is technically there, and you can technically watch it. But yeah, man, that's
Yeah, I don't get why people are so mad about Weird Al Yankovic odds. I don't understand. He's a fine guy. Like, leave Al alone.
Yeah, but Al art is everywhere now. I'm just looking on the internet. I keep seeing Weird Al Yankovic's art. I'm not interested in that. I want to see art made by humans.
Yeah, what's this fucking Shia LaBeouf alien shit that this man has just, like, flooded the internet with?
Al. That's funny.
yeah.
Why did they... We need to redo all the letters so that each one is clearly not another letter.
Yeah.
I'll get started on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just Weird Al, not human confirmed. My name is Algorithm. I'd like to talk to you about the climate and also that thing you Googled last week.
Wow. Okay, we're getting into a nexus. This is great.
This is
yeah. That is truly humor for 30-year-olds. What just came out of my mouth, like
Jesus Christ.
I want to be very clear about
Nearly Human. You're absolutely right. That does sound like Batman naming conventions, like Batman villain naming conventions, like Edward Nigma. Really? Really? Anyway. Yeah.
Perfect. Algorithm is going to be a one-shot character. Amazing. I'm
Awesome.
so fucking happy for you, Kate.
What did like before the internet or even like 10 or 15 years ago, if somebody said algorithm, what would people have thought of? Like a Rubik's
Math.
Cube? Yeah.
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 Some
Like
math thing.
to me,
Mhm.
yeah.
Makes sense.
Honestly, you know where
Changing.
my brain went before algorithm became sort of put into common usage in the current way that it is. Uh, for some reason, I just went to like the TI-81 calculators. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
people doing stuff. Like people would like when I was in high school, people would like use those and like write complex like programming and like write like
Oh,
algorithms and
right.
stuff like that on them.
There's algorithmic functions and
Yep.
logarithmic functions or something. Oof.
Mhm.
Oh, you.
Yeah, this is why I hire people like Emily to do graphic design work for me, so that I know the difference between a capital I and a lowercase l without having to type a lowercase I to refer to the capital and an uppercase L to refer to the lowercase. Anyway, sans serif fonts are very fun.
Mm-hmm. Good times.
Thinking about serifs.
Geekouts? No. You're not allowed to say things like this. 10 to 15 years
That's
ago
a
was
good
2010,
point.
2014. That's not
We're
allowed.
probably already talking about social media algorithms.
Yeah.
Kerning
Yeah.
is so important. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I am cursed with the knowledge of what tangents are now, and I can't unsee them everywhere.
Oof.
My brain just
Also-
shorted.
This was a fun discovery that I had the other day, which is that in terms of distance from now to then, my parents in the mid 2000s listening to hits from the late 70s and early 80s is the same as us listening to early Fall Out Boy.
Yep.
I have not recovered from this thought.
Very true.
Speak to me of the workings of time. Down that path lies agony, John.
I'm
Let
sorry.
us think.
I really, really need to highlight the thing that Newly Human said, which is, I know the algorithm was a thing 10 years ago because it figured out I was bi before I did, is hilarious. And,
I also had the thought when we were reminiscing about how our lives were in different places at the beginning of this. I was like, I wasn't out yet.
Yep. Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Kate said, the children I teach weren't born when I graduated university. Sorry, Kate, that's impossible because no one was born after
Correct.
the year
Yeah,
2000.
no one was born after the year 2000. That's not a real thing that happened. Henry, I'm sorry to tell you, but your son can't exist.
No, he's just a figment.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's a good one. A figment.
My cousin and his wife definitely didn't just have a baby.
No.
Like,
listen, it's a good figment of your imagination. We all processed the trauma of the early 2020s in different ways, you know, and some of us manifested imaginary children. So
yeah, Matt is manifesting all four of us right now.
correct. No one was born after the year 1990.
Goodness.
Constructs made by algorithm.
You're right.
Somebody needs to draw algorithm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
It's not gonna be me. Well, actually, I might later. Oh man.
Yep.
So I've been for the book that I'm working on with some other friends for a Kickstarter. The Roll for Your Life, with a chapter I was working on today and recently is robot. So I have been thinking about AI. It's like the whole point of the book is it's like randomly make something like a character or whatever, but not it's not like simulationist. It's like gather the trappings of different genres and try to make something kind of new from it. But I can't help myself from like filling the robot thing with like kind of jokes about how they all make art, like you roll for design purpose or whatever, and somewhere is like oh god, I have to go look it up. But anyway, like it's so odd. I don't know. It's like humans don't make art anymore. That's a robot's job. I know that's not true, but it's such a pervasive, wild thing that I wouldn't have foreseen very recently.
I know.
And like,
What if
I
we
don't
can
know.
automate creativity? I'm like, you've misunderstood the point.
Well, yeah, I don't think I not that I claim it's art or whatever, but like I was really hoping for like Robbie the robot from Forbidden Planet from the 50s or whatever. Like I'm
Oh,
afraid that
what a good fucking movie.
yeah, young
We
Leslie
jumped. We
Nielsen.
jumped straight to Terminator. We like fully.
I know, or like they're never gonna have the cool. They're not gonna ever be like shuffling. They're never gonna be shuffling wind up bodies. They're just gonna be incorporeal like super minds. I want the clackers and the clampers and the rivets, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, there was a hot pot place too that I went to for my birthday, and they had two robot waiters,
Okay.
and they were basically like they essentially had like a gigantic Roomba base, and then on top of the Roomba base there was basically like a set of shelves almost as tall as like this shelf behind me. They were probably like yay tall off the floor, three sets of shelves, and they had like a little like sides to hold the shelves up, and then it came to a little thing at the top, and then there was a little screen up there, and they had a face, like it had just big anime eyes, and a little smile, and they would just wheel around, and if somebody was in the way, they would say, "Excuse me, I'm coming through." And like around you, I watched it do that around Bree, and then they would like pull up to your table with loaded with like dim sum or whatever you had ordered from the kitchen. And they'd be like, please take your food off of whatever. And then you'd take it off. And then they'd be like, please push the button to send me back. And you push the little button. They go, I'm going back now. And then smile at you and wheel away. It was the cutest shit I've ever seen.
That's charming. You gotta,
Oh my
you gotta
gosh.
balance the anthropomorphism with the not too whatever.
I was
not
like,
human.
there's some stuff where I'm like, I don't like this. I don't like this.
Mhm.
And then there's things where I'm like I
Like
would
anything
die
that
for
comes
this.
out of Boston Dynamics.
Yeah, I hate all of that. But
It's
like
all bad.
the ooh woo glorified Roombas that wheel dim sum out to me, I would die for them.
The robots
Yeah.
coming out like, we will terminate your hunger. Like oh my god. That's so funny, Odds. I was reading this. I was rewatching Star Trek, and they were like, we need to make a really slick move through an asteroid field or something. And they were like, this computer isn't good enough. Give me the manual control. And I was like, no, the computer is for sure better than you. So funny that they thought computers wouldn't be better than people in the future. I do think that is very funny. I love when like, once very like forward looking kind of like over the horizon viewing kind of sci-fi is now like it ages itself in ways like that. It makes me laugh every time I see it. It's great.
It seems like sci-fi is like aging quicker and quicker. Like
Yeah.
you only have to like you probably find movies from the 2000s where like you're like nope, we're past that in this way, and like but still not there. Like so you have to imagine that sci-fi movies created in the past that are set in the future, all different branches of a timeline. Like where like no, that social media doesn't exist, but humans have colonized 1,000 planets.
Yeah. Well,
It's
it's like Star Trek is getting to a point now almost where where because of how real world technology has advanced, Star Trek's genre is changing, right? Because now it's sort of more of like a retrofuturist kind of thing as opposed to being like a hard sci-fi kind of thing.
like it, yeah, earnest futurist.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah,
I
the
hadn't
what
thought
if
about
that
that.
Star Trek asks in 2024 is very different than the what if that Star Trek asks in 1990. Right?
Very much so.
I remember reading the essay from Ursula K. Le Guin at the top of The Left Hand of Darkness, and I was like, Jesus Christ, you're so fucking good at this. Like she wrote something to the effect of like, immerse yourself in this. Do not believe me. I am lying, but believe me, but don't. And I was just like, fuck that. I hate how good at you. Like, this is insane. that in reference to like just talking about the genre of sci-fi itself. You know, she's like, I'm not a prophet. I'm not predicting things. I'm asking a question, and I'm lying to you. But my goal is to make you think. So if you did that, like,
Yeah.
She is my favorite writer by a lot. So good.
she's really, really good.
Yeah. Silver Sugar, you're absolutely right. Like, comedies as well are. I find this is an interesting thing. I have found we're sort of like at the end of our time here, but I'm gonna keep talking. Um, I have found that the comedies that age the worst are like the comedies that were attempting to be like edgy humor in their time. Because either the things that they talk about just sort of stop being taboo over time and it stops being funny, right, to like a more modern audience, or it has done the opposite where the topics that they're making fun of now we look at as like, oh, we can't joke about that. And so I find that edgy comedies tend to be the ones that age the worst. So yeah, realism lasts better than edgy. I absolutely agree, Kate. I'm 100% there with you. So yeah. Um okay, well, unfortunately, we are at the end of our time here uh for the evening. Um which feels really just sort of sudden and short. Um but it is true. I know. It's over. Um so and LOL so random is forever. Wait, no. Listen. We 90s kids didn't fight and die in the trenches of LOL random equals funny for this nonsense to be coming back. Um
Hank Green's series about social media, same thing. Not prophecy, just extrapolation. Maybe he predicted the pandemic and AI, but maybe he's just observative. Yeah, listen to creatives.
yeah. Okay. Well, um we we're gonna go. And we're gonna head out. Henry, thank you so much for coming and joining us. We're gonna have you back to do some of the other stuff that we talked about, talking like doing bad pitches. The next time we do bad
Hmm.
pitches, we're gonna bring you on and it'll be very
Okay,
fun.
good. I
And
just thought of a specific movie that I've had in my back pocket for a long time.
great.
It's a comedy that had to have come out in 2002 because it could not exist now. But we'll talk about that later.
Okay, all right. All right. That
Thank you
sounds
so
good.
much for having me.
Of
I've missed
course.
this a lot.
Oh man, yeah. It's great here on the big anniversary to have everybody back together again. Um we will see you next week for Ramblemancy. Probably. I don't think there's a reason that we're not going to be here unless another cold should randomly strike me from, out of nowhere. Um but failing that, we shall return. But if not, we'll see you the next time you decide to come roll with us. Thank you so much, everybody. Good night and good zone.